Welcome to this video where I'll be sharing important key commands on Logic Pro that will help increase your compositional workflow. I selected these key commands because I use them on a daily basis when working on projects and sessions. I personally like to use a key command when I have to use a utility or function within Logic at least 10 times. These key commands are personalized to my style, so the actual key commands might be a different key combination for you. However, use whatever key combination best suits you and helps you remember them easier. The first key command is new track. The key combination I use is Option Command Enter. As it says in its name, you can create a new track instantly. You can find the New Tracks button right above the tracks itself, and it is symbolized with a plus sign. However, I personally like to use the key combination as it is much quicker to leave my hands on the keyboard. You can also set it up where it loads up a library instantly, which will save you a little extra time. For the key command new track with duplicate settings, I use the key combination of Control Option Command Enter. Being able to duplicate a specific track can save you time because it copies all the data such as plugins, sends, buses, etc. The only thing that doesn't get duplicated is the MIDI or recorded data. For the key command Open Close Instrument Plugin window, I use the key combination of Shift Command O. This key command allows me to instantly open the highlighted track's instrument window without having to move the mouse cursor to the inspector's designated area. Using this key command allows easier access to make adjustments to microphone placement, reverb, attack, and other details within the instrument window. For the Open Close Audio plugin window, I use the key combination of Option Shift Command 1. Similar to the previous key command, this one opens the plugin windows for highlighted tracks. I typically don't go into the plugin windows often, but I thought this command would be useful to someone who mixes. For the key commands Create Marker and Rename Marker, I typically use these two at the same time. Instead of going to the drop-down menu to add a marker, it is much simpler and convenient to add these two functions as key commands. I typically like to use markers before I start composing in order to map out what I am going to do. For the key command, go to Position. It allows you to move the playhead to a chosen location. I have it set up that when I press G on my keyboard, the menu for this function pops up. I typically just type the bar number. However, you can also use the SMPTE timecode to go to a specific location. For go to last locate position and stop and go to last locate position, these two commands have similar but different purposes. I use the comma key on my keyboard to activate go to last locate position. Wherever you begin the playhead, this key command will take you back to its original position and it will keep playing. This would be useful in cases of wanting to do a quick listen to a passage, or maybe if you are trying to transcribe some audio. For stop and go to last locate position, I use the slash key. Similar to the previous key command, this also takes you back to the playhead's original starting position. However, the playhead instead stops and does not continue to play. This could be useful if we are recording different instruments or MIDI data at a certain starting point and need to get through multiple tracks. For the key command, catch playhead position, I use the period key on the keyboard. This key command allows you to automatically regain visual focus on the playhead. So instead of scrolling side to side to find the playhead, all you need to do is press the key command and it locks on. This function also has a button on Logic's main window. However, it's much easier to simply press the key. For mute notes and regions, I use the key command of M. By simply clicking on a region or clicking the track itself, I can easily mute what I want. If I have different regions within a track, I can easily mute the desired region without having to delete it or by muting the entire track itself. It is more convenient than using the actual mute button on the track. For quantize selected regions, cells, events, I use the key command of Control Q. I will record a passage with the quantize automatically set to eighth notes. Since I have the quantize already set to eighth notes, the triplets I played are automatically going to be played back as eighth notes. By selecting the desired notes and using the key command, the triplets will now be correctly aligned. For trim note N to selected, which is known as force legato, and trim note to remove overlaps for selected, I use the key commands Shift L and Shift O respectively. Here I have some MIDI data that is overlapping. When I select it all and force legato, all of the overlapping is removed and each note becomes a complete half note. The last note is the only one that is not going to change in terms of length because there is no note after it. If I selected all of the overlapping notes again and do trim note to remove overlap key command, I'm going to get the same effect as force legato. These two key commands are basically the same, however, force legato is intended for making short notes longer, and the trimming note overlap command is for making overlap notes shorter. There is no difference in the outcomes, but I still use both at the same time when working. There is no key command for zoom in and zoom out in the key command list. Instead of using the zoom sliders and buttons in Logic's main window, an easier solution is using the Option key and your mouse. If I hold the Option key and drag a box with my mouse, Logic will zoom in to what I have selected. In order to zoom out, all you need to do is hold Option and left click your mouse. It probably won't zoom out if you click on a region, so make sure to click somewhere with empty space. For the command Join Regions, I use a key combination of Control M. This key command is useful if you have lots of short MIDI regions. Here, I have the same region repeated 3 times, and it can be a little hard to read and control within the piano roll. By selecting the regions I want and pressing the key command, these 3 regions become one. Now it is much easier to view within my piano roll as a bigger block of MIDI data. For toggle Varispeed, I use the key combination of Option Command T. In order to find Varispeed, you need to navigate to the control bar's drop-down menu and select the Customize option. In here, you will checkmark Varispeed to enable its display. By dragging the percentage number up or down, you can make it either faster or slower. To demonstrate the difference, I will play this passage with Varispeed off. Now I will enable Varispeed. Varispeed is super useful if you are not a great keyboard player and need to record MIDI at a slower tempo. In addition, it is really useful for transcribing music as it allows you to slow down audio without really messing up the audio. Lastly, for the key commands of Show Hide Mixer and Show Hide Editor, I use the key combinations of Shift M and Option E respectively. These key commands are probably more effective to someone who only uses a laptop screen or doesn't use an additional screen. Instead of manually clicking to open up these windows, I find it more effective and efficient to just use a quick key command. These are my 15 key command tips that can help increase your compositional workflow in Logic. Feel free to subscribe, like, and comment, and let me know if I should do another Logic video like this. Thanks.